Once again, colleagues. So Ms. Damari Etemesi has also been one of our council members. She has been in charge of the in-house committee. She's held up. She'll be joining online, but then she's ably represented.
Thank you, Josephine. So we'll proceed to the next item on our agenda, which is confirmation of the minutes of the last AGM held on 30th June 2023. And Josephine will take us through the same.
Yes, so we are on agenda number 5, which is a confirmation of the minutes of the last AGM. The same was held on the 30th of June, 2023, here at the Golden Tulip. So we'll just go through the minutes. The members present are from page 4. If you have your documents, if you received the email with all the documents that we sent to you, you can kindly refer to page 4 on the members present, so we can all note whether our names have been captured accurately as well as our P105 numbers. So the members who are present, I'll begin from page 4 up to page up to page 25. And so if there are any confirmations on the names or any issues you can raise, we'll be given an opportunity, or you can put your comments on the chat. So I'll begin with the minute 1, AGM 30th June 2023, which was the commencement and opening remarks. So the meeting commenced at 10:40 a.m. with opening remarks by the chair of LSK Nairobi branch, Ms. Helen Namisi, and a prayer by Ms. Wendy Muganda. And so the chair welcomed the members to the branch AGM and recognized the physical presence of the branch council members as well as the secretariat. So minute number 2, which was a reading of the notice convening the meeting. So the chair formally called the AGM to order and noted the number of members present. The secretary, then Stephen Bogwa, read the notice convening the meeting. Minute 3, adoption of the agenda. The proposed agenda, which had been circulated before the meeting, was presented by the chair and adopted. Minute 4, introduction of council members. The chair requested the council members present to introduce themselves. So all members, with the exception of Ms. Damari Etemesi, were present physically, and Ms. Damari Etemesi introduced herself virtually. Minute number 5, there was a silence in tribute to members departed. So the members observed a moment of silence in tribute to the members of the branch who had departed. The list of the members departed had been shared with all the members via an email and was included in the LSK Nairobi branch annual report for 2022. Minute 6, confirmation of the minutes of the last AGM held on 10th June 2022, physically at the Pride Inn Azure Hotel. So the secretary took members through the minutes of the previous AGM. He welcomed the members to make any comments on the minutes. Minute 6.2, the minutes were proposed for adoption as an accurate account of the meeting by Mr. Majimbo Georgiadis and seconded by Mr. Kennedy Murunga. Then still under minute 6, the third item, members were polled on whether they supported the adoption of the minutes. So 98% of the members voted that they supported the minutes. We go to minute number 7, on the matters arising. Ms. Wendy Muganda took members through the matters arising from the previous meeting held on the 10th of June 2022. And so Wendy Muganda updated the members of the ongoing discussions and stakeholder engagements to address practice concerns at the Lands Registry. She further mentioned that the ongoing efforts to streamline practice concerns at the Business Registration Service Registry. We proceed to minute number 8, which was the 2022 annual report of the LSK Nairobi branch. So Ms. Elizabeth Wanjiru led members through the 2022 annual report of the LSK Nairobi branch. The annual report contained the items listed from number 1 up to that is 14. And so I will not read the same, we'll just carry on. Then the branch annual report summary. So the annual report summary was summarized as follows: that part A, B, and C of the report provided details of the branch council, the council meetings of the previous and present council, as well as the corporate governance statement. Part D set out of the secretariat location, contact information, functions of the secretariat personnel, modes of communication with members, such as social media, bulk SMS and email, weekly newsletter, and the Wakili magazine, which had 2 issues in 2022. And Part E set out the minutes of the previous AGM. Part F set out the strategic plan of the branch, which was still in effect. Part H set out the various branch committees, including the branch council committees, the bar bench committees, the tribunal committees, liaison committees, and the special committees. Page 27 to 37 highlighted the various achievements and the KPIs of the programs of the branch. There were social and welfare programs in partnership with the LSK SACCO, Mega Health, Insurance Brokers, Traction School of Governance and Business, among others that sought to improve the welfare of the members. So the branch also successfully held some activities such as the Nairobi Legal Awards 2022 and several legal aid activities. The turnout at the branch activities had improved and members were encouraged to attend. Then members noted that fundraising was still a challenge at the audited accounts, as the audited accounts showed less income received from sponsorships as compared to the year 2021. Members were requested to subscribe and support the branch activities as the Secretariat continues to zealously seek more sponsors of the branch events. Then the chapters report, that is Kiambu and Thika, were also included in the report, and the activities and achievements were highlighted by Mr. Stephen Bugwa. We proceed to a subsection under the minute on the annual report for 2022, which is the branch elections 2022. So part J of the report covered the elections, which were conducted by the Iceberg using the digital platform. The elections were overseen by the IEC, which comprised of Ms. Jan Mohammed, Senior Counsel, Mr. Samuel Makori, who chaired that IEC, and he was the returning officer. We had Joy Impano, Julia Washira, and Mr. Charles Mwalimu. The newly elected council members for the branch council 2022 to 2024 are as listed on number 1 to 10, and we are present here today. So we proceed to the item on the adoption of the report. So the report was proposed for adoption by Mr. Ochieng Oginga and seconded by Mr. Wangila Waliaula. A poll was conducted on the adoption of the report, and 96% of the members voted in adoption of the council report. We proceed to minute 9, which was on the presentation of financial statements and auditors' reports for the financial year 2022. So the first sub-item on financial statements, the Treasurer, Ribin Ondwari, presented the financial statements. He urged members to take note of the various notes and explanations of the accounts. The second item, auditor's report. The Treasurer invited the LSK National Office auditors to present the audit report. The appointed representative from the firm of Ronalds LLP presented the report, whose opinion indicated that the proper books were kept by the branch. The third item, a reaction from members. Mr. Charles Kanjama appreciated and congratulated the branch on the organization of the AGM and the branch's audit reflection of good financial records. Mr. Wangila Waliaula inquired on the low income reflected in the 2022 accounts as compared to 2021. He also requested for an explanation and a breakdown on the expenses as to its increase in 2022 as compared to the year 2021. The Treasurer also explained that the increase on events expenses was as a result of the events largely sponsored by the branch's fund as reflected on the statement of income and expenditure. So Mr. Wangila Waliaula noted that in the recent past, events were managed through fundraising and urged the council to improve on its fundraising strategies. So the last item under that minute 9, which is the adoption of the financial statements and comments. The financial statements were proposed for adoption by Mr. Charles Kanjama and seconded by Mr. Kelvin Muraidi. A poll was conducted and the results showed that 96% of the members supported the adoption of the financial statements. And so we proceed to the minute number 10, which is a notice of motion given by members to the secretary. So there were no notice of motions presented by members to the secretary. Then lastly, the last minute number 11, which was any other business. So Mr. Majimbo Georgiadis congratulated the branch for organizing a successful AGM and the chair for concluding the AGM on time. The chair requested members who would like to subscribe to the newsletters to liaise with the secretariat to be included in the branch's email. She also noted that the branch payment platform had been widely shared on social media and within the comment section of the Zoom during the meeting. Members were encouraged to actively participate in branch committees and events. The meeting ended at 1:45 p.m. with a prayer and a vote of thanks by the Vice Chair, Elizabeth Wanjiru. And so that marks the end of the minutes of the last AGM. And at this point, the floor is open for any comments on those minutes. Corrections, comments? If you have any comment, you can raise your hand, then we can hand over a mic to you, or we'll give you an opportunity to raise the issue you'd like to raise. So if there are no comments, no corrections, no anything, we'll need a proposer and a seconder of the minutes. Sorry. Okay, so we'll just hand that over to the chair so that we proceed.
Thank you, Josephine, for taking us through the minutes. We will take it that there are no matters arising. I request Secretariat to put up the poll where members can vote on whether they support the adoption of the minutes. Yes, the poll is up on your screen. Okay, we can stop the poll. %96 of the members have supported the adoption of the minutes. Thank you very much. We'll now move to the next item on the agenda, which is the reading of the annual report. I will be taking you through the first part. I believe we all received the same on email. So what we're going to be doing is a highlight. As we all know, the Nairobi branch comprises of the council, the secretariat and the committees, and also the general membership. The report that we're reading covers the activities and programs of the branch in the year 2023. The current council, as at the time of preparation of the report, comprised of Helen Namisi, Elizabeth, who is myself, Stephen Bogwa, Ribin Ondwari, Damari Etemesi, Victor Molindi, Josephine Oyombe, Joy Matheka, Teresia Wavinya, and Gloria Kimani. And before I proceed, I have noted that Gloria has joined us. So I'll give her a moment to introduce herself and at least greet the members.
Good morning, everyone. Apologies, I was late. I was in a meeting. However, I'm glad to be here. Thank you so much, Chair.
Karibu sana, Gloria. On council meetings, the branch council met every month in 2023. Where various issues concerning legal practitioners and the progress in achieving the council's agenda were discussed. It's the forum that council usually explores the proposals by the council members regarding on how the branch should be run, guided by its mandate under Section 24 of the LSK Act 2014. We have our corporate governance statement, which now captures the attendance of council meetings January to December 2023. The current branch councils meet on the dates that have been listed there. And the name and the council meetings attended have also been captured at Part C. On council allowances and reimbursement, council members receive a sitting allowance of 5,000 for attendance of every ordinary council meeting. The council had special meetings on 25th January, 23rd May, and 15th November. We now go to the branch secretariat. At the start of 2023, the branch secretariat was comprised of the programs manager, Wendy, two Grace, and one office assistant, Charles. We also had 3 interns, Rebecca Ajigo, Simon, and Simon. So by the end of 2023, we had new staff on board. Therefore, the current structure, we have the programs manager, Wendy Muganda. I'm sure most of our members have interacted with the secretariat. We have 2 programs officers, that's Leonora, Ara, and Clement Odinga. Now there are currently 3, actually. We have Leonora, Clement, and Clifford. We have 2 program, we now have 3 program assistants, that Caroline Carrier and Simon Abero. We have 1 accounts stroke HR officer, Grace Muthui. We still have 1 office assistant, Charles Agwata, and 2 interns who are Valerie Ndanu and we have 1 other. We had Griffin who left, so we have Lulu. We have Lulu who has joined the team. Our location, for those who may not know, is at Lower Hill Duplex, suite number 15, Upper Hill Road. The functions, the secretariat is in charge of running the branch programs, and each of them has been assigned a specific program. Wendy Muganda is in charge of council and secretariat management. She's also in charge of the events calendar, project management, stakeholder engagement, commercial practice, law reform and devolution, training programs, companies liaison committees, and capacity building for the secretariat. Then we have Clement Odinga and Lulu. They are in charge of the bar bench and legal aid programs alongside Valentine Danu as well. Then we have Leonora Arwa and Caroline Carrier. I'm sure you interact with them a lot, who are in charge of member services, including mentorship, ICT, NLA, branch chairs, caucus, secretariat, tax liaison, events. Then we have our communication teams, which is comprised of Clifford Ndubi and Simon Abero. Grace Muthui, as stated earlier, she is in charge of accounts and HR. So anything to do with matters finance, management, budget is Grace. Then Charles, who is our assistant, office assistant, is in charge of the reception desk and performs general activities at the branch. The interns, like in every other office, assist in coordination of various programs under supervision of each program officer. Communication. We have updated our members' database, and we are able to communicate with our members. And if at all you're a member and you do not receive our communication, please reach out to the branch so that we can update your information. Then the website revamping. Our website is currently unavailable due to delay from the website developer, and we are actively seeking an alternative developer who can meet the agreed upon timelines. We appreciate your patience during this transition and assure you that you'll soon have a running website. Social media. The branch uses 5 major social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, WhatsApp, and LinkedIn. Frequent posts are made on various branch activities and programs. And we have also successfully develop our WhatsApp database for all group administrators or various advocates on WhatsApp groups. And we recently also opened a WhatsApp channel and we encourage our members to join the same. Bulk email. Yes, bulk email and mailing lists. We are currently using MailChimp application to send multiple emails to all members on our mailing lists. And it's also constantly and manually updated following each new event and each new member engagement. So I will repeat, if at all you do not receive our communications, feel free to reach out to the Secretariat so that your information may be updated. And just to emphasize, we recently sent out emails, and out of the 13,000 emails that were sent, only 8,000 were delivered, meaning that 5,000 of our members need to give us our information so that their information so that we can have a complete record. On the weekly newsletter, the branch newsletter is used to keep you, our members, up to date on committee progress and branch activities. Every Friday, we send out our weekly newsletter, and the plan is to expand it to include a features section for advocates on various areas of practice. Wakili magazine. Yes, as in 2023, I must say that we actually managed to publish one edition of the Wakili magazine, and we plan to resume publication of the magazine in 2024. The 6th AGM of LSK Nairobi branch, this was held on 30th June 2023 from 10 a.m. at Golden Tulip. We used the Zoom platform to accommodate virtual attendees. The meeting began with the reading of the notice to convene the meeting. Members observed a moment of silence to pay tribute to departed members, and I believe the minutes of the same have been read to us very well by Josephine. The branch strategic plan 2017 to 2022. The branch had a strategic plan which was effective since 2017. It is now outdated, and the new council coming in should formulate another within this coming year. Our vision and mission. The main vision of the branch is to be a premier bar association that advances legal practice and members' welfare. Our mission is to stay committed to advancing a conducive environment that enhances the professional and commercial interests of our members. Our core values and pillars are responsiveness, relevance, and efficiency. These values help us in fulfilling our mandates, and our pillars are to engage members and key stakeholders in addressing practice and welfare matters, and we strive to ensure accessible opportunities for active member participation. Part G is on branch engagements with key stakeholders. Of course, we are not able to do it on our own. We've only been able to achieve what we have through the support of key stakeholders who help improve practice and member welfare. They include the Law Society of Kenya, that's the national office, the Attorney General's office, the DPP, the judiciary, and we also have long-standing branch sponsors who are also our stakeholders. Furthermore, we have LSK affiliated agencies such as LSK SACCO, the Advocates Benevolent Association, and other LSK branches with whom we primarily engage through the LSK Council or at Council's direction through the Secretariat. We have quite a list of engagements. I will just highlight, we had various bar bench committees with various courts across the country. We held the second golf tournament on 27th January 2023 at Muthaiga Golf Club. We have held a training on the small claims court e-filing system, among many other trainings. We've had several coffee talks and mentorship series. We've held various webinars. We have paid courtesy calls to our stakeholders. We have held quiz nights, which members have really shown an interest. We have visited courts as and when called upon. We had the Nairobi Legal Awards events, including the Nairobi Legal Awards Women's Soiree and the Nairobi Legal Awards itself. We've held the Legal Tech and Innovation Week. We have had several webinars by different committees. We have also promoted resolution of disputes through mediation in collaboration with the judiciary and other stakeholders, whereby we organized the inaugural Mediation Summit 2023. We've also had the trial advocacy training in collaboration with our stakeholders. And in 2023, we actually had 2 sessions. We have, in collaboration with Mega Health Insurance, launched the Young Lawyers Medical Scheme. We have also, in collaboration with Mega Health Insurance, hosted webinars on sensitization on the Young Lawyers Medical and PI covers. Actually, the rates of these covers are shared on our weekly newsletter for those who may be interested. The branch held its Purple Ribbon Week from 21st to 23rd June 2023, which was a huge success. In collaboration with the BRS and Transparency International, we have held a workshop, amongst other various workshops. We've had various legal aid clinics, including at PCA Unity Church, amongst various other platforms. We also had the NLA Advocates Barbecue. We have had, I still maintain that we have had quite a number of trainings. And then in conjunction with Zamara Insurance, we held a sensitization webinar on pensions. So members who do not have a pension plan ought to join. We have had webinars on data protection concern in the recruitment cycle. We had various other activities, including the gala dinner of the NLA. And the activities are listed from number 1 to 65 from page 32 to 36 of the annual report. When you have a moment, you can go through each and every one of them, but I have just done a highlight of the same. So now I will hand over to I wish to recognize the presence of Justice Helen Namisi. I have seen her, she has joined virtually. Perhaps she can unmute and say hi to the members. Helen Namisi. Secretariat, you can unmute Helen. Wendy, you can move closer. Okay, as we wait, I will hand over to, I don't know if Damari has joined us virtually yet. Okay, I'll hand over to Josephine to take us through the next section. Patty.
Yes, so I'll carry on. If you're just joining us, we are looking at the annual reports. The same was sent on your respective emails, and we are on page number 36. And so I'll carry on the branch committee engagement. So the branch committees at the LSK Nairobi branch are as follows. We have a litigation practice committee. The same was convened by Ms. Teresia Wavinya. The social and welfare committee, which was convened by Ms. Gloria Kimani. The commercial practice committee, the same was convened by myself. Then the devolution and land reform committee, the same was convened by Mr. Ribin Ondwari. The branch legal aid and public interest litigation committee, which was convened by Ms. Joy Madeka. We have the bar bench committees, and these are several. And I think since these are critical, you'll just permit me to go through each and every branch committee. And then when we get to the subsequent pages, we'll summarize the presentation. So since the establishment of the branch, we have constituted and engaged with the Nairobi and the Kiambu law courts in bar bench committees where issues that are specific to various courts have been discussed and solutions on the same proposed and pursued. So we have a number of bar bench committees, and the same bar bench committee for the Supreme Court, the same is convened by Mr. Charles Kanjama. We have the Court of Appeal Bar Bench Committee, still convened by Senior Counsel, Mr. Kanjama. There's the High Court Family Division Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Remigio Mugambi. There's the High Court Commercial and Tax Division Bar Bench. The same is convened by Ms. Nazima Malik. The ELC Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Ezra Makori. There's the High Court Constitutional and Human Rights Division Committee, convened by Mr. Haman Omiti. There's the High Court Judicial Review Division Bar Bench Committee, which is convened by Mr. Issa Mansour. Then there's the High Court Criminal Division Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Wakabi Madenge. The Anti-Corruption Bar Bench Committee, convened by Ms. Paula Atukunda. Then we have the ELC Bar Bench Committee, convened by Ms. Konsima Wetende. There's a Bar Bench Committee on the Court Annexed Mediation Matters, convened by Ms. Angela Mwadumbo. There's the Nairobi Children's Bar Bench Committee, convened by Ms. Mary Sheila Odor. There's the Chief Magistrate's Criminal Court Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Clarence Jumba. There's the Commercial Court Bar Bench Committee, Milimani, convened by Ms. Paula Njuguna. Then we have the Kibera Law Courts Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Robert Asembo. The JKIA Law Bar Bench Committee, still convened by Mr. Robert Asembo. Then we have the Qadhi's Court Bar Bench Committee. The same is convened by Mr. Ali Mahmoud and Ms. Leila Ahmed. Then we have the Small Claims Court Bar Bench Committee. The same is convened by Mr. Kennedy Ochieng. The High Court Civil Division Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Wilson Mwihuri. The Kahawa Law Courts Bar Bench Committee, convened by Mr. Stephen Bogwa. Then the Wajir Law Courts Bar Bench Committee, convened by Ms. Gloria Kimani. And the Chief Magistrate's Anti-Corruption Court Bar Bench Committee. We have the Rent Restriction Tribunal Committee. Sorry, I think I need to note that we're proceeding to tribunal committees, and the tribunal bar bench committees that we have are as follows. We have the National Environment Tribunal Committee. We have the Rent Restriction Tribunal Committee. The same is convened by Ms. Teresia Wavinya. We have the Business Premises Rent Tribunal Committee, again, convened by Ms. Teresia Wavinya. The Cooperative Tribunal Committee, convened by Mr. Gitonga Muriuki. The Public Procurement Tribunal Committee. Then the Political Parties Dispute Tribunal, convened by Ms. Harriet Njoki. Then at the LSK Nairobi branch, we also have liaison committees, and the various liaison committees have been as follows, and I'll also confirm the conveners. So we've had the ICT and IP liaison committee, which has been convened by myself. We've had the tax liaison committee, convened by Mr. Victor Mulindi. The Nairobi Land Registry liaison committee, convened by Mr. Ribin Ondwari. And the Nairobi Companies Registry Liaison Committee, convened by the now judge and now Helen Namisi. Then at the branch, we've had special committees. So we had the awards. We've had the awards committee, which is convened by Mr. Charles Kanjama. There's the internal dispute resolution committee, convened by the now judge, formerly convened by the now Justice Helen Namisi. And then the Lawyer Police Relations Committee, convened by Ms. Gloria Kimani. So those have been the committees that we have had, and we are proceeding to page 38, which will now cater for the various council meetings that we have had in the last term for the council. So as I noted, the next presentations, I'll do them in summary. So I hope we are all following. I'll just be noting the pages that we are on and we follow, and I'll just pick the highlights. So under the council committees, we had various committees hold their council meetings. So the Social Welfare Committee held their meetings on respective dates. So the dates were 24th February, that was 14th July, 13th October, and 8th December of last year. Again, through the Social and Welfare Committee, the branch was able to have some activities organized by this committee. So the activities were the quiz night, we had the 7-a-side football tournament, we had the sports day, which was held on 28th October last year, and then we had the Advocates India Party that was also held last year. There's the Legal Aid and Public Interest Litigation Committee. Again, it convened several meetings, which were done on 31st January, 17th of March, and 31st of August last year. And there were various deliberations that were made by that particular committee. And in summary, the deliberations made were with respect to resource mobilization. There was a prison visits, there was a public interest cases, and the committee work plan activities, as well as the Purple Ribbon Week report. As you can recall, we had a successful Purple Ribbon Week event held last year, and we are actually also, there's one that is being planned for in this particular month. So I hope that we are looking forward to it, and we've shown interest and signed up for the same. So as we proceed, we had the Devolution and Law Reform Committee. Unfortunately, the same was not able to have any meetings last week, but this particular committee has also been instrumental in terms of gathering comments and inputs in the various bills that have come up once in a while. So we proceed to the Litigation Practice Committee, and this particular committee held its meetings in the months of February and April, and the various deliberations in summary that were raised by this particular committee were the practice concerns that had been raised by members. So some of these practice concerns were itemized under number 2, still on page 38. So those were delays in issuance of court orders on matters filed under certificate of urgency, We had delays in execution processes, delays in type proceedings, delays in judgments and decrees, as well as warrants. And then we had challenges where some judicial officers did not indulge or accommodate counsel when a matter was called out, and so the counsels were not able to maybe log in because they faced challenges while logging in. And then we also had malfunctioning court links as some of the challenges and some of the critical issues that were taken care of by that litigation and practice committee. So we move on to the in-house committee. As at the last financial year, there were no substantive meetings held. But then again, as we'll note, the committee has also been quite instrumental when it comes to in-house matters and taking care of all the issues that have arisen. And so we proceed to the commercial practice committee. This particular committee held meetings in the months of February, April, and December last year because meetings are held on a quarterly basis. So the commercial practice committee engaged in the different issues, the different emerging issues when it comes to the commercial practice areas and concerns. So some of the webinars that were held were trying to engage the issue of efficiency in the Kenyan capital markets and legal frameworks in enforcing liability for incorrect disclosures in prospectus. So we proceed. We are on page 39. We proceed to the bar bench committees. So we have, I noted and read out the various committees that we had. So we'll start with the Supreme Court. The meetings it held were in the months of May and September. And there were various resolutions that this particular Supreme Court committee resolved. So in summary, I'll just note that the summary resolutions were that members would review the practice directions related to pending claims for compensation for work-related injuries and diseases instituted before the Supreme Court. And that is in the case of Supreme Court, that is in the case of LSK versus the Attorney General and others. That is petition number 4 of 2019. And then there was a resolution on concerns about fittings under Rule 44, the review of the Supreme Court rules and the valuation / public participation of the proposed Supreme Court virtual hearing and practice directions. And then thirdly, there was a resolution on the committee's terms of reference, which is meant to include its composition, the quorum, the retention of law clerks and office administrators as secretariat members, and then an addition of a court administrator. Okay. And then we proceed to the last 3 resolutions, which were on the registrar and deputy registrar to address the issue of the watermark, on court decisions obscuring legibility and presenting possible solutions for further consideration. And then there was an additional resolution holding committee meetings at least twice a year. And lastly, there was for the approved resolutions to be extracted and shared with members for dissemination to their respective constituents. Okay, so I will continue just highlighting in a very highlighted summary version of the next particular bar bench committee meetings. This is because we've been sharing regular reports on the newsletters, and so it's nothing that is new to us. So we had the Court of Appeal. The meetings that were held were in the month of October 2023, and the resolutions that were passed are as on page 40, and we can see maybe key matters would be there was an issue on the pro bono mentorship program which was launched. There was an event on the Inns of Court, and then the other highlights are as page 40. We move forward to the Employment and Labor Relations Court, which held its meetings in March, June, September, and December last year. And the summary resolutions are as page 41, items 1 to 5. So we will not read those word by word because, again, they comprise of the information we've been sharing via the newsletters. We move on to the Environment, Land, and so the ELC, which held its meetings in the months of March, September, and November last year. And the summary points that were discussed in this particular Barbench committee include stakeholder engagements. There was the communication channels. There's the format for submitting our submissions, which should be in Word. Then the FAO, pledge to support transcription equipment. There's the issue on case disposal. There's the issue of missing files, an issue on ADR, where litigants are encouraged to embrace ADR, and by that I believe it's the court annex mediation. Then there's the issue on virtual ins of court training. There's working groups and mediation. There's sensitizing on e-filing and adjournments. So we move to the High Court Civil Division Bar Bench. Again, the meetings held were in March and November last year, and the summary discussion points are on page 43. So we can refer to items number 1 up to 8. We shall not read the same word for word. We proceed to the High Court Criminal Division Bar Bench. The same held a meeting in the month of June last year. And so some of the key highlights of the meeting held are on page 44. If you can proceed to page 44, and we refer to notes 1 up to number 10, which will be able to again highlight what was discussed. So we proceed to the High Court Judicial Revision Division, which held its meetings in March and October last year. And the committee covered several areas. And so the areas covered are highlighted and summarized on page 45, items number 1 to 17. In passing, I'll just note that issues on reduction of missing files was discussed, the issue on reduction of backlog, typed proceedings, digitization, the issue on dormant files, ADR mechanisms to be explored, compliance with court directions, trainings, the issue on uploading court orders. Again, then we had the open day seminar as well as the judgments during recess. So we carry on and we move to page 46, which contains the High Court Anti-Corruption Bar Bench Committee. The same held its meetings in the months of March, June, and October last year. And the highlights for those meetings are highlighted and summarized as item number 1 to 10 on page 46. So if we can refer to the same and just peruse through. We move to page 47, which is the High Court Family Division. It held its meetings in the months of August and November. And again, we have a summary of what was deliberated in the meetings and the resolutions that were passed. These resolutions are captured under items 1 to 19 under page 47. Since we've been sharing this on a regular basis, we shall not go through them one by one. So we proceed to the High Court Commercial Tax Division. The same held its meetings in the months of March and November last year. Again, the committee deliberated on various resolutions, which are summarized on page 48. We can refer to items 1 to 11. And in passing, again, we can see that the issues are almost familiar in each and every bar bench committee, because we've noted the issue on type proceedings, there's the practice challenges and solutions, practice directions, case filing and disposal, the ins of court training, there's alternative dispute resolution, that is the embracing of the court annex mediation, Then there's the business registration service training. There's the division's activities, future plans, and important dates for the ELC, for the commercial court division. So we move to page 49, which is the High Court Constitutional Court and Human Rights Division Bar Bench Committee. They held their meetings in the months of April, July, and November. And in highlight, the resolutions that were passed are captured under items number 1 to 11, which is on page 49. So if we can refer to the same and peruse for our noting. We move on to the Court Annexed Bar Bench. Again, they held their meetings in the months of June and October, and a summary of the resolutions that were passed are highlighted on page 50, items number 1 to 9. So if we can refer to page 50, then we can appraise ourselves with the resolutions for the Court Annexed Mediation Bar Bench. We proceed to page 51, which captures the Chief Magistrate's Milimani Commercial Court activities. The same committee held its meetings in the months of February, June, and August last year, and deliberations and resolutions that were resolved are as captured under page 51. If we can refer to the items as number 1 to 15, then we can be able to get to see what was deliberated. We carry on to the Kibera Law Court, which held its meetings in the months of March and November last year. Again, the resolutions that were passed in these meetings that were held are captured under items number 1 to 22. And so we can see there are various issues. Maybe if we can quickly scan through, there was the issue of masqueraders, which was quite predominant in the last 1 year, and we can see the same was highlighted. There was an issue on the service week. There's the representation guidelines, there's virtual courts, there's the application to defer pleas, and then the rest we can refer on page 52, which proceed up to number 22. So we proceed to page 53, and page 53 captures the JKIA law courts. The meetings for this particular bar bench committee were held in the months of March, June, and September last year, and the resolutions that were passed are itemized under item number 1 to 6. So if we can refer to page 53 and appraise ourselves of the resolutions. So we carry on and move to the Kahawa Law Courts Bar Bench Committee, which held its meetings in the months of January, June, and September last year. And the same committee also passed various resolutions, and the same are captured under the same page 53. So if we can refer to the resolutions and peruse for our noting. So we carry on, we move to page 54, which contains the Makadara Law Courts Bar Bench Committee, which held its meeting in the month of October 2023. The same particular committee passed various resolutions. And I think since this is a court of interest, perhaps I can highlight some of the resolutions by this court. So we had the Makadara Law Courts Bar Bench Committee met on 12th October 2023. The deliberations and resolutions were that, number 1, the Chief Magistrate Court, Honorable Gesora, is following up with stakeholders regarding the official handing over of the container at the court's premises intended for pro bono advocates to interact with their clients. Secondly, the court issued a memo to staff regarding conduct of staff and drafting legal documents, which were noted to be affidavits. It was noted that it is illegal for the registry staff to draft affidavits. And further, advocates complained that the court clerks were discourteous and rude. Then thirdly, it was noted that there were delays in supply of statements, and there was an email that was issued for advocates to freely approach the audit PP office and get copies of witness statements. Number 4, again, there was the issue on the contrary to the guidelines on payment of pro bono briefs. It was noted that there were delays occasioned, and therefore the pro bono advocates were urged to be patient as well, and to attend the budgetary meetings to speak on the same. Then the other 3 issues were issues on advocates want for matters for those in custody expedited. And again, we had advocates requested the court to embrace the issue on the bail and bond reduction. And lastly, the issue of delay in responding to the court emails. And so our WhatsApp group was supposed to be created to assist advocates. The other matters that were AOB matters are highlighted on the same page. So we proceed to page 55 on the Curtis Court. So if we move to the Curtis Court, we will note the meetings held were in September. And in these meetings, the summary resolutions that were passed are itemized under item number 1 to 11. So if we can refer to page 55 and familiarize ourselves with the resolutions that were passed. So we proceed to the Small Claims Bar Bench Committee. Again, the meetings it held were in March, June, September, and December. The summary resolutions that were passed are indicated on page 56. We have challenges itemized as number 1 to 9 on page 56. And then summary deliberations and resolutions itemized as number 1 to 9 on page 56. So if we can refer to the same so that we can familiarize ourselves with the resolutions. We move to the Milimani Children's Court Bar Bench Committee. It held its meeting in May last year, and several resolutions and deliberations were passed. The same are itemized under page 57, items number 1 to 14. So we carry on to page 58, which has the Nairobi City Court, as well as the Chief Magistrate Milimani Law Court, Criminal Court. And so the meetings for the City Court were on, I think the meetings for the City Court were held in the month of February, and deliberation and challenges were noted, and these challenges are highlighted under page 58, few of which concern inadequate sitting space, there's lack of toilet, inadequate physical infrastructure, the issue of masquerading, as well as poor internet connection. For the Chief Magistrate's Court, the meetings were held in the month of June, in the month of September, and the summary resolutions and deliberations are itemized as number 1 to 7 on page 58. So if we can refer to the same and familiarize ourselves with the resolutions passed. So we move to page 59, which is the Chief Magistrate's Milimani Family Court Bar Bench Committee. The meetings held were in the months of August and December, and the deliberations and resolutions passed are as captured on page 59, items number 1 to 10. So we'll proceed to the Cooperative Tribunal. We move to page 60. It held its meeting in the month of October 2023. And from that meeting, several deliberations and resolutions were passed. The same are summarized and captured on page 60 as number 1 to 12. So if we can also refer to the same and peruse through to get to learn on what was deliberated upon. We move forward to page number 61, which has the National Environment Tribunal Bar Bench Committee. It held its meeting in the month of August 2023. And so some of the resolutions that were passed are itemized on number 1 to 8. And in highlight, issues discussed contained the issue on case filing and disposal, reduction of missing files, the digitization, there's the type proceeding and type transcription, embracing ADR, challenges with fixing court dates at the registry, the issue on late delivery of judgments, and then regular meetings. So we move ahead and proceed to page 62, which has the Political Parties Disputes Tribunal. And this held its meetings in the months of February, August, and November. Deliberations and resolutions passed are itemized on page 62, items number 1 to 7. And then we have the liaison committees of the branch. So we have the first liaison committee, which is the ICT and IP liaison committee. It held its meetings in the months of January, February, March, April, October, November, and December. And some of the resolutions passed are noted and itemized as number 1 to 3, page 62. We proceed through and move to the tax liaison committee on page 63. It held its meetings in the months of February, April, and June, and the resolutions passed are itemized as number 1 to 4, page 63. So if you can just peruse through and get familiar with what was discussed and passed. Then we have the Nairobi Lands Registry Liaison Committee. It held its meeting in the month of August 2023, and some of the resolutions passed are items number 1 to 2 on page 63. So we carry through and proceed to the Nairobi Companies Registry Liaison Committee, which held its meetings in the months of February, April, June, and September, as well as November. And resolutions passed are itemized thereon, items number 1 to 3. And so to conclude on all these committees, we have some of the special committees of the branch. So we have the first special committee, which is the awards committee. And the awards committee held various meetings, as we can see, in the months of February, there's March, April, May, June, July, August, September, up to October. And that particular committee organized the 6th edition of the Nairobi Legal Awards 2023 with the theme of the Vanguard edition. Lastly, we had the Lawyer Police Relations Committee, which held its meetings in the month of July and October. And there are various resolutions that were passed. The same are captured under item 1 to 5 under page 63. So at this point, I would like to hand over the mic to Mr. Victor Mulindi next to me to proceed with presenting the report. And we are moving to page 64 under programs.
This is not Victor speaking. Thank you very much, Josephine, for taking us through that section. As we proceed, I would like to recognize the presence of the chair, Kiambu chapter, Jane Odia. Unataka kusalimia watu wako? Aya, sawa, wamesalimika. I had seen Irene Otto, amidst us from the National Council. So we recognize their presence and we appreciate you joining us today. So I'll hand over to Victor.
Okay, thank you, Chair. I will quickly take you through the programs of the branch. As we all know that the branch has 2 mandates, that's members' welfare and practice issues. And then, so on those 2 issues, we have been doing several programs, which I'm just going to report what we've been able to do in this past year. So number 1 is the the bar bench program. We have constant bar bench programs like what you've heard Josephine read. Those are all bar bench committees. We encourage members to join some of the bar bench committees. We have a lot of interactions with the bench and court users committees so that we can have efficient and direct interactions between the bar and bench so that we can have efficient justice delivery. We also have the commercial practice program. This program is executed through various committees such as tax liaison, companies liaison, lands liaison, and ICT IP liaison committees. They meet at least once a quarter or monthly or a need to basis. So we also encourage members, once you get the notice to join some of these committees, please join so that you can be able to give your input. So the meetings for the commercial practice liaison committees, there have been consistent meetings with the company's registry. There is still a lot of push for engagements with the land registry also, which we're also trying to have other meetings with the KRA, KIPI, and KEKOBO for the tax committee and IP and liaison committee respectively. So in terms of committee meetings, the commercial practice committee has set up a subcommittee on finance and insolvency, projects and infrastructure, mergers and acquisition, capital markets and private equity, and stakeholder engagement. This will shape the discussions for the respective aforementioned areas of law to facilitate training on the same. So point number 3, this is on page 64. We are on the social and welfare programs. We have had a lot of welfare and social programs in the last 1 year. So let me just highlight some of them. We've had the Internal Dispute Resolution Committee. This has not been active because there hasn't been any complaint filed against the branch. We have member savings and investments. There's a partnership with the LSK SACCO to improve members' welfare through membership in the SACCO. We have the improvement of lawyer-police relations. We've had some meetings on that. The branch has been responsive in reaching out to members who have been harassed by the police in their line of duty. And there has, of course, been several courtesy calls to the different police, police leadership in terms of how we can relate better with the police. And then we have had branch partnerships. We have CS certification of advocates. Members' skills have been improved as a result of branches ongoing partnership with Traction School of Governance and Business. We are pleased to announce that members are pursuing CS courses to enhance their professional capacity. That partnership has been ongoing, and I'm sure it will continue even after our term. We've had partnership with Bountiful Safaris, Traction School of Governance, I've already mentioned that, LSK SACCO, Radio Waumini, partnership with Haki, FM, Mega Health Insurance Brokers. This one is to provide a PI cover solution to members. We have also partnership with Wakili, Sokone. The platform is basically to help members get access to discounted products and services. We have quarterly luncheons, though the last one that was held was in 2022. But I'm sure the new council will organize more luncheons. So social initiatives, we have the golf tournament. This one was done on the 27th of January 2023 at Muthaiga Golf Club. We had about 183 players and 66 clinic participants. And the program is basically to help advocates socialize and also learn the skills of golf. This year we had the guests as Honorable Justice Francis Tuyot, Judge of Appeal in Kisumu. We also had Honorable Justice Anthony Kamau Ndungu, Judicial Review Division, High Court, Nairobi. We also had Honorable Justice Matthews Nderi Nduma, Employment and Labor Relations Court, Nairobi. And of course, the former LSK President, Eric Theory. Yes, so we also had the 7-a-side Advocates Football Tournament. This was held on the 22nd of July, 2023. The theme for last year's 7-a-side football tournament was for better mental health. Wakili Usikimie, connect and reach out. So we had 24 teams that participated. These teams are represented and participated in this in that particular tournament. It was very well attended. We had several awards. Best kitted team went to the Rendezvous. Most disciplined team went to Direct Line Assurance. Best female player, Samantha Okea. Golden Glove went to Eugene Chitindo. Top scorer went to William Maya. MVP went to Unguti. Second runners-up, Coulson Hani LLP. First runners-up, Sport Pesa FC. Runners-up, Red Alert, Senaji and Associates. And then we had the winners, Team Faith B. So the 7-a-side tournament was successful. But of course, this year, we are looking for improvement in terms of the turnout and also the sponsorship and the budget. We also have had quiz nights. We had one on the 3rd of March of 2023 at Art Cafe, Brigham Tower, Upper Hill. The event was attended from various teams, law firms, and advocates from all walks of life. And we thank the 21 teams that participated in the quiz night. And the first team, that year, the first place going to Team Questionable Decisions. Second place to Team China Square. And third place to Team Tequila Mockingbird. Yes, that was the name of that team. I don't know why they chose that name, but yes, that was their name. I'm just looking forward for the next year's report on the winner of the quiz night this year. And I'm glad I'm not the one who's going to be reading that report. All right, those who know, know. All right, LSK Nairobi Branch Sports Day. This was done on the 28th of October, 2023. Every year we have an LSK Nairobi Branch Sports Day, which basically helps advocates to come together and have fun and enjoy as they flex their muscles. The idea behind last year's Sports Day was Climate Champions on and off the field. This was aimed to celebrate lawyers who excel not only in their legal careers, but also in their commitment to addressing climate change. All right. So in this particular event, we had 21 teams in attendance, and these teams were basically able to participate and have a good time. We also had other activities other than football. We had chess, Scrabble, tennis, athletics, 100 meters men. I can see Weekly for You featuring there at 100 meters. I'm not so sure that is correct, but I can see also Kevin Bogo there. All right, 200 meters women, 200 meters men. Jenga, we had Team Kamende winning that one. Basketball, we had Emerging Law Firms as the runner-up, Direct Line as the winner, and Team Mashtaka as the second runners-up. Football, we had LSK Sako as the second runners-up, Sierra Advocates as the first runners-up, and Team Eric Theory as the winner. So the sports day was very successful. We had it at the USIU grounds. Of course, there are areas of improvement, and we kindly ask members, every time you see an event coming up for LSK Nairobi branch, please attend. Those events are usually very fun activities, and you can actually get to have a lot of networking there with your fellow colleagues. You never know, you can even meet your spouse, your future spouse there at that event. All right. We also had the Advocates End of Year Party. This was done on the 15th of December 2023 at Quiver Steakhouse, Milimani Road. This was good, very good attendance. We had about 450 members in attendance, and it was a good event. And then we also have mentorship program. The mentorship program is basically is a program that is run by the branch. It's aimed at alleviating some of the challenges faced by young lawyers by providing an avenue through which young lawyers can tap into the wisdom of their seniors. Currently, the membership program incorporates both one-on-one mentorship sessions and quarterly mentorship forums. So apart from this, we have the Coffee Talks mentorship series, which is a one-on-one mentorship session that actually happens virtually. Each series has 5 mentors who are assigned to different breakout rooms on the virtual platform. Each mentor has a maximum of 8 mentees in the room and engage on an informal discussion on the topic of the day. So in 2023, we had 10 sessions. and the dates are actually right there. And the various topics that were covered, finding your niche, navigating generational dynamics at the workplace, how to build your brand, financial literacy skills, saving and investing, dealing with the ethical dilemma at the workplace, the power of attitude in the legal profession, and ground rules on professional success, among other topics. So those are very interesting topics. I would like to advise young lawyers to really look out for these coffee talks and attend. It's virtual. You can log in and attend. It's usually on a Thursday. Attend, and it actually be very helpful to you. And then we also had the Law Reform and Devolution Program. This is number 5 on page 69. We had different committee meetings in the year 2022, 2024. We had engagement with the speakers of the National Assemblies, Kiambu County Assembly, Governor of Nairobi County, and we agreed to participate in the review of bills during the council term of 2022-2024. And then we had a review of legislation and devolution matters. This is basically an avenue for identifying relevant statutes to review, memoranda to be submitted on the pending bills. We also have training programs finally, and this is basically an avenue where firms are, we are partnering with different firms in setting up practice series which can be beneficial to members dependent on the members' practice needs. So my work is done. I've been able to take you through the different programs that the branch has. I would like now to give back to the chair so that then we can continue the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Victor, for taking us through that section so well. Yeah, and teams that come to quiz nights, when you're coming up with a name, consider the fact that you may actually win and appear in the annual report so that we are able to pronounce your names properly. As we continue, I would like to recognize the presence of Teresia Wavinya, Council Member National Office, who has joined us. I also want to recognize the presence of Hezekiah Aseso, Council Member National Office, who has joined us virtually. I now hand over to Joy to continue.
Good morning, members. I'm going to take us through part 7, section 7 of our report that covers the Nairobi Legal Awards program. So this is a very summarized form of it because I believe all of us had the report to go through. And in case of questions, we still have the email out there for you to follow through. So the NLA was launched in 2018, and it was done in recognition of the challenges noted with law practitioners in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, which is the jurisdiction of the branch. The awards program has been recognizing law firms and law departments, as well as individual lawyers with outstanding standards of practice and legal service delivery in an effort towards encouraging excellence in practice. And the criterion is based on globally recognized best practice in legal practice and service delivery. The NLA Trust was made up, or rather was set up with an aim of institutionalizing the NLA program, and the trustees are as listed 1 to 7. Allow me to read this. Mr. Charles Kanjama, Senior Counsel, Mr. Butas Siganga, Senior Counsel, Ms. Jacqueline Manani, Justice Helen Namisi, Mr. Gad Gathu, Ms. Ndinda Kinyili, Ms. Joy Katunge, that's myself. The trustee, of course, works with other organs, that is the technical committee, the awards jury, the branch council, the branch secretariat, and these organs are the ones that oversaw the 2023 awards cycle. The NLA Awards was held on 3rd November 2023 at the Safari Park Hotel. I believe most of us, if not all of us, attended. Then I'm going to take us through the special committees of the NLA. There's the technical committee, which comprises of the 8 members listed there: Ndinda Kinyili, Elizabeth Wanjiru, Ribin Ondwari, Damaria Temesi, Gadgathu, Vanessa Luila, Alex Waweru, and Anne Adhiambo, not Adhiambo. Then there's the awards jury, which is comprised of the following persons: Mr. Buta Siganga, Honorable Justice Lenaola, Justice Isaac Lenaola, that's Honorable Justice Isaac Lenaola, Mr. Kiragu Kimani, Senior Counsel, Mr. Fred Waithaka, Miss Jacqueline Manani, Miss Diana Sawe, Mr. Charles Mutinda, Mr. Charles Kanjama, Senior Counsel, and Justice Helen Namisi. Subsection B on the methodology just highlights, or rather, this gives a very detailed, gives details on how the process is done, the method. And the first step is the invitation of and submission of entries by contenders and collection of data for the various award categories based on a tool formulated to encompass the above enumerated principles of legal best practice and statutory provisions. Then the second one is data assessment, which entails visits by trained award assessors to the participating firms, organizations, and interview of individual participants to verify the data provided and evidence presented by the contenders. The last step is jury consideration of the data and selection of winning candidates. So right there, we have a highlight of the 2023 cycle, and I'm just going to pick out a few that I'm going to read out. We had an introduction of new categories. These were the manager or partner of the year, commercial practitioner of the year, and litigation practitioner of the year. The reason this was done is it was in response to the evolving dynamics of the legal profession and the need to expand recognition of external practitioners. Then there was a rearrangement of phases. The structure of the evaluation process was reorganized to enhance clarity and efficiency. Then there's introduction of documentary review stage. This step was added to ensure a comprehensive assessment of nominees, documents by competent assessors, thus allowing a thorough shortlisting of candidates for interviewing. We move to page 72. The last step was stakeholder nominations. Then NLA in the year 2023 had several outreach events or activities. So the trust in fulfillment of its mandate organizes various outreach programs designed to cater for specified classes within the legal community. This just ensures that every person, every lawyer, every legal practitioner is at least recognized, whether you're in-house, whether you work for the government, you get some recognition. So the first one was the NLA soiree that was held on 10th March. We had 75 participants, and the chief guest was Justice Mumbi Goge. We had the NLA Advocates Barbecue that was held on 4th August 2023. We had the in-house caucus that was held on 29th September 2023. There's an error there. The attendees were not 4, definitely. They were 48. These webinars. There were webinars, of course, 2 of them. The first webinar, the theme was Adapt or Fail, remaining relevant in the changing legal landscape. And the second one was Legal Ethics and Professional Responsibility, Advocates Best Practices. And that was well attended with 145 participants joining. The awards cycle of 2023. This is how it begins. We start with the theme selection, and this was done. The trustees, whom I have read, were given a selection of 6 proposals, and we all agreed to have the year's edition as the Vanguard edition. Then this is followed up by the launch of the award cycle, which was done on 16th June 2023. And this was marked by the release of the NLA launch booklet of 2023. In that booklet, the following categories were captured. There was a category on corporate categories, and which had Law Firm of the Year, SME Law Firm of the Year, In-House Legal Department of the Year, Public Sector Law Department of the Year, Civil Society, that is Justice and Legal Sector Organization of the Year. Then on the second category, that's individual categories. We had Lawyer of the Year, Young Lawyer of the Year, In-House Lawyer of the Year, Civil Society Lawyer of the Year, Commercial Practitioner Lawyer of the Year, Litigation Practitioner Lawyer of the Year, Manager stroke Partner of the Year, Public Sector Lawyer of the Year, Judicial Officer of the Year, Committed Service Award, Branch Chairs Award, Outstanding Service Award, ADR Practitioner of the Year, and lastly, the Law Teacher of the Year. So the persons who are eligible to participate in the awards are all lawyers, and this still applies even the year 2024, are all lawyers practicing in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, all law firms with offices registered practices in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, all legal departments with offices in Nairobi and Kiambu counties. We moved to assessment. The assessment process was conducted in 2 stages. There's the individual assessment and the firm stroke legal department assessment. The firm stroke department assessments were conducted dependent on the availability of the assessors. And these are the assessors. I'll run through them and we appreciate them. Julius Kitheka, who is the principal assessor, who was the principal assessor. Stephen Saini, Joyce Njeri, Shadrach Mwinzi, Moses Kurgat, Sylvia Mwiruri, Ashley Mukami, Innocent Rasugu, Winnie Isabel, Linda Nechesa, Lynn Ganga, Jared Mugendi, Kenneth Kidinji, Violet Obure, Charles Owiti, Ibrahim Kito, Agnes Nzisa, Lilian Nyangasi, Linda Mwihaki, David Odhiambo, Lilian Obuo, Abigail Samin, Gloria Mudoni, Jacqueline Wehenya, Elizabeth Kiragu, Frederick Njihia, Dr. Felix Odhiambo, and Dr. Praxidis Torore. Then on the selection of winning candidates, the awards jury met on those dates in order to select the winning candidates. And the winners were selected based on the reports that were submitted by the assessors that I've just read. We had the award ceremony on 3rd November at Safari Park. Then we've had the post-award publications. This is just more of a formal publication or a formal release of the lists, or rather the details, the names of the 2023 awardees and finalists. We have also programs and profile booklets. Subsequently, the Secretariat has developed profiles of the 57 finalists across the diverse categories. There's a citations booklet of 2023 that followed. Then of key interest was that there's a supplement with the Nation Media Group. So in collaboration, that's NLA in collaboration with the Nation Media Group, the Secretariat initiated discussions with Wamboi Karaoke to explore various advertising options, and negotiations secured a 15% discount for awardees and allocated NLA space, equivalent to the cumulative space taken up by the awardees. Then we have the last bit, which is the assessment reports. Collaborating closely with the College of Assessors, the Secretariat is actively engaged in producing post-assessment interviews for all nominees, and these interviews aim to provide nominees with insights into their strengths and areas of improvement. Feedback is always very, very necessary. So, with the permission of the chair, and as a member, a trustee of NLA, I was requested to share a small supplementary report that is more like passing information to members and also a request at the same time. So we are recruiting assessors, and an assessor is an advocate that is appointed and tasked to evaluate and award marks to different nominees based on guidelines provided by the trust, including NLA guidelines, training, and their limited discretion. So categories of advocates encouraged to apply for this is recruitment of assessors, are senior advocates of over 10 years post admission, advocates in legal academia, civil society practitioners, in-house practitioners, commercial practitioners, and those in the area of ADR. So of importance to note is that there's no payment for this. This is a voluntary assignment driven by your passion for legal excellence. No allowance shall be availed to assessors, and those who volunteer are required to free up at least 2 days for the purposes of conducting this assessment. The second one is the NLA Advocates Barbecue, now for the year 2024. This will be our 3rd edition. We call upon individuals and organizations to support this endeavor by purchasing Ambuzi. The NLA Barbecue event will be held on 2nd August, I reiterate, and you can contact the NLA Secretariat or even the branch secretariat for more information on how you can purchase your Mbuzi. Then there's a call for sponsorship. So despite the success of our annual events, which most of you bear witness, the reality of financial constraints looms large. We rely so much on sponsorship, and it presents challenges in guaranteeing long-term funding for expanding our initiatives. This year, we are targeting, our goal this year as NLA is to raise 10 million shillings, which will be managed judiciously for both current use and future investment in the trust's activities. So this is a call to you all to support the NLA today. Then a very, very beautiful baby of NLA was born called CLEAR, which stands for Center for Legal Excellence and Alumni Relations. The NLA, through 6 successive editions, has cultivated a rich and diverse community of awardees, presenting an invaluable opportunity to harness collective excellence for the broader benefit of the legal profession. So the Center for Legal Excellence and Alumni Relations, shortly abbreviated as CLEAR, initiative stems from the desire to maintain and to deepen the engagement with our awardees, transforming them into lifelong ambassadors of the NLA values and standards of excellence. The establishment of CLEAR is envisioned as a strategic initiative to engage the vibrant community of NLA alumni, fostering a continuous cycle of excellence, mentorship, and innovation within and beyond the legal sector. So you'll be hearing from the NLA pertaining CLEAR, and for those of us, and I believe most of us should be interested, kindly reach out to know how you can support the initiative, how you can be part of the movement. So from the NLA desk, that is it from my end. Thank you. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, Joy. Although there was a request that you continue with the legal tech. So back to you, Joy.
Okay, so I'll be taking us through section 8. This is on legal tech and innovation program. The branch, through the ICT and IP Liaison Committee, set up the Legal Tech and Innovations Week 2023. The reason this was set up is because of the challenges noted with the legal tech practice in Nairobi and Kiambu counties, to promote the promotion of intellectual property rights and to spur innovations. So this was our 2nd edition, as the 1st edition was held in 2022, spearheaded by our very own Josephine Ombe. And this year's theme was embracing emerging digital technologies, that was held on 28th and 29th March at the Milimani Law Courts. Then here at 8.1, we have the attendance survey. There was also a good number of attendees, both physically and virtually. The awards included 5 contestants and 9 additional organizations exhibiting their products and services. Then the following organizations that are listed from 1 to 15 had pitched their tents at the Milimani parking grounds. Then we move to page 76. The program began on March 28, 2023, with the guest of honor, Lady Justice Diana Mochache, who spoke about implementation of ICT in the judiciary. Over the course of the program, there were numerous speakers, and there were displays. For those of us who attended, there were displays at the parking grounds and the trainings that were going on. And the topics that were covered included help grow your law firm, connect with your client base, establish your online presence. The Legal Tech Award ceremony was conducted on 29th March within that week, and there was a jury panel that was appointed by the Legal Tech Committee, the subcommittee rather, to judge the showcasers, and it included Jan Joroge, who is the managing director at Infinite Solutions, Mercy Kimalat, who's the CEO of Association of Startup and SMEs Enablers of Kenya, Jason Uraya, the co-founder of Stratineb Limited, Sherry Bor, Associate Loke. The following companies took part in the awards competition, 1 to 5, and the winners were Added Technologies, came in first, Brief second, and SP Otieno as the best individual innovation in IT. Then I'll still go on to take us through legal aid and public interest litigation program, which I convened. And the mandate of this committee is to organize and provide legal aid to members of the public within the jurisdiction of the branch, that's Nairobi and Kiambu, to educate the public on current legal issues and institute public interest litigation suits. In 2023, the committee undertook the following activities. The LSK Nairobi branch, Purple Ribbon Week 2023. So this was held on 21st June to 23rd June. It was marked within the week which the advocate Willie Kimani lost his life, and the whole idea was to raise awareness about the protection of advocates against police harassment, intimidation, and the extrajudicial killings. Additionally, the event aimed to promote pro bono services as a corporate and individual social responsibility. So we held legal clinics at the Riara University. The attendee survey, you can see listed A to X on the next page. It was really well attended, and being that it was our first, I think it was a good startup, and also a call to us to support this year's Purple Ribbon Week. So we acknowledge, as the LSK Nairobi branch, we have some acknowledgement and gratitude to during the 3 days. On the first day, there was a peace walk, which also had a queue mass and a closing of file ceremony in Milimani, at the Milimani Law Courts. Then day 2, there was a legal aid clinic, as I mentioned. We had the corporate social responsibility, where we were able to donate some therapeutic toys to child victims of abuse at the DCI unit. Then we had the legal aid clinic at PCA, Unity Umoja, this is Umoja 2, on 16th July. Photo of the same is there. Then the attendees survey, it was attended by advocates, students, lecturers, the branch, the secretariat, Kenya Christian Lawyers Fellowship, as well as the JPRC organizing committee. We had legal aid sessions that commenced at 10 a.m. You can see a beautiful photo there. Then the guest was Flora Chebet. Then we had the LSK Legal Awareness Week of 2023 that was held on 23rd October. The branch joined the LSK National Office, stakeholders and partners at the launch of the LSK Awareness Week at the Milimani Law Courts, and the theme for that year, last year, was Unlocking Justice, a collective effort to decongest prisons and deliver legal aid. Then we had a legal aid clinic at PCA, Kahawa West Parish Church, PCA, Kahawa West Parish Church, and another one at PCA, Sosian Parish Church. Basically those. So if your church is not mentioned, maybe you can organize, we will come your mosque. The challenges and measures, the first one was on member participation. We thank the members who keep showing up by attending our events. The participation has definitely improved. We encourage members who have not attended to attend. Mulindi made that call, and I'll still make the same call. There's a call for the voluntary subscription fee of 1,500 towards our branch. It's more like our core funding, our resource mobilization. The branch is currently allowed to issue 1 CPD point for attendance of the branch AGM. I think that goes to answer all those people on the chat section who are asking, is there a CPD point for this? Then fundraising, the branches key sources of income are from the LSK Nairobi, LSK National Office, includes annual grant devolution funds and equalization fund. We also raise income through the activities or events that we organize, member subscription and donations. We continue to request members to give donations whenever possible. We are thankful to the following persons who have continued to support the branch, listed from 1 to 19. Allow me not to read that in the interest of time. Then from K, where we're going to have the chapter reports, I'll hand it back to our chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Joy, for taking us through that. The chapter reports are found from page 83. To page 101. We have a report of the chapter activities. They've also attached their minutes. Then we have a report on the Kiambu chapter activities. We actually have quite a number of photos from page 86. They have attached minutes of various bench meetings. They've also put there a photo of Masquerada arrest in Kiambu Town at page 89, where they worked together with RAT. They had a sensitization on the judiciary e-filing system. Then there was the launch of the e-filing system, which was also done in 2023, that is at Kiambu. Then there was the Gema Wadho launch, which was done at Kiambu Golf Club. They also participated in the Legal Awareness Week. Yeah, and as I said, the chapter chair is here. We continue recognizing the good work that our chair is doing, and we encourage them to keep up with the good spirit. Then we have quite a number of pictures from page 98, which when you have a moment, you can take a look. And that will bring us to the next item, which is the presentation of the financial statements. But before we go to the presentation of the financial statements, we would like to request Secretariat to set up a poll. And as I do that, we will take any comments regarding the report. If you have a comment, you can raise your hand if you're physically present. And those who are virtually present, you can raise your digital hand if you have a comment on the report. Yes, so the poll is up on your screen. So kindly participate. We also note that there are no hands. So I'll take it that members are happy with the report. Yeah, you can stop the poll. Yeah, we confirm that the report has been adopted by 89% of the members. Thank you very much for the participation. I now hand over to Ribin Ondwari, our treasurer, to take us through the presentation of the financial statements and auditor's report for the financial year 2023.
All right, thank you very much, Chair. As I've been introduced, my name is Ribin Ondwari. I'm the serving treasurer for the year 2022 to now 2024. So the financial reports, I'll go through the financials. Then we have our auditors from Ronald's LLP, Miss Evelyn Kanjagwa, who will come after I make my statements to present the auditor's statement. So the financials are from page 102. Because of time constraints, we won't go through each and every aspect, but we'll cover the high-level aspects. So if you look at the revenues, we had a total revenue of 19,419,766, which is a slight increase from the year 2022 when we had 18,973,000. So there were some other additional incomes leading us to a total of 20,561,167. In terms of expenditures, we also had a total expenditure of 20,968,225. As you can see from your report, it's a slight decrease from the previous year of 21,789,000. But key to note is that there was a significant decrease in administrative expense by about 3 million, where in 2022, the total administrative expenses were 16 million, and this reduced to 13,932,741. And then another key important aspect to note was the increase in chapter grants, because as has been noted, our chapters Kiambu and Thika play a very important role where there's an increase noted there in chapter grants to 2 million. So I'll just highlight a few of those aspects. If you look at the report, there are notes which then describe what these huge figures refer to, and allow me to just cover two key aspects. So in terms of the revenue, if you look at page 116, there's a breakdown of the revenue, how we got to the 20 million. So the devolution fund, we received 13,721,766. These are the funds that are devolved from the national office to assist with running of affairs. Then there are also grants, which were granted from the national office at 2 million. And then donations at 3,698,000. As also you can see, there was a decrease in the devolution fund, but again, this was supplemented because there was an increase in the grants, which covered that, but also there was an increase in the donations by about 1 million from what we received in 2022. Then the other income that were totaling up to 1.1 million, as you can see, they are from member subscription, which we've been reminded they are voluntary, but they're important towards supporting your branch. Magazine advertisements, events income, merchandise totaling up to the 20 million. In terms of administrative expense, so the entire 12,939,286, which again, as I noticed, is a marked decline from the other year. In 2022, it was at 15 million, but through policies that were initiated by the entire council, there was market decline by about 3 million within that aspect. Within even the context of, as you can see, the staff costs had increased from 7 million to 9 million. Of course, this is in recognition of the aspects, the elements that have to be covered to ensure that the staff welfare are taken care of in line with the increase in cost of living. But beyond that, there are a number of expenses that then were reduced that enabled us to reduce to that. So if you can see, the administrative expense component contains all those aspects that have been listed at page 13. Allow me not to go through each of them, but you can see they've been listed there. That's what contributes to administrative expense. It goes all the way to page 14. Beyond that, yeah, I think as at that point, those are the key aspects to cover, but we'll have a session where if anyone needs any clarification, we are able to cover that. But on our end, we are really pleased that together we were able to work together and try to manage the administrative expenses. Reduced together, we were able to work together and supported our chapters a bit more, and together we were able to work together and increased the donations that were received in 2023 as opposed to 2022. At this point, allow me to invite the auditor to come and present the audit report, Ms. Evelyn Kanjagwa from Ronalds LLP.
Thank you, Treasurer, and I think it's still morning, it's afternoon, so good afternoon, members. So I'm going to read for you the opinion for the year ended 31st December 2023. We have gone through the figures. We didn't note any material movements in the year besides what the Treasurer has reported. We have audited the financial statements of the Law Society of Kenya, that is Nairobi branch, which comprise the statement of financial position as at 31st December 2023, the statement of income and expenditure, the statement of changes in fund balances, the statement of cash flows for the year then ended, and a summary of the significant accounting policies. In our opinion, the financial statements give a true and fair view of the state of the society's financial affairs as at 31st December 2023. And of course, that is in accordance with the applicable IFRSs and the Law Society of Kenya Act of 2014. In terms of the basis of opinion, we conducted the audit in accordance with the international standards on auditing. We are independent of the society in accordance with the International Ethics Standards Board for Accountants, Code of Ethics for Professional Accountants, and we have fulfilled our other ethical responsibilities in accordance with that code and in accordance with the other ethical requirements applicable to performing audits in Kenya. In terms of the key audit matters, where we are required by the standards to report to the members whether there were matters of more significance that came to our attention during the course of the audit, we wish to report that there were no key audit matters to be reported. There is the other information, including the reports that we are looking through today, that we do not express any assurance and conclusions of the other information. The council responsibilities to the financial statements, they are required to ensure that the financial statements we are looking through are true and fair, and of course are prepared in accordance with the FRSs and the Law Society of Kenya Act of 2014. The responsibility of the auditor is to express an opinion on the financial statements. As we do that, we exercise professional judgment and maintain professional skepticism throughout the audit. We identify and assess the risks of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error, and design and perform procedures that are responsive to those risks. Also obtain an understanding of the internal controls relevant to the audit. We also evaluate the appropriateness of the accounting policies and the reasonableness of the accounting estimates and disclosures made by the council members, and conclude on the appropriateness of the use of the going concern and evaluate the overall presentation, structure, and content of the financial statements. We believe that the audit evidence we obtained was sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis of our opinion. on the report on other legal and regulatory requirements as required by the Law Society of Kenya Act of 2014, and based on our audit, we have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purposes of our audit. In our opinion, proper accounting records have been kept by the society so far as appears from my examination of those books, and the society's statement of financial position is in agreement to the books of accounts. Back to you, Treasurer. Chair.
Yes, thank you for that. We now welcome members' intervention. If anyone has a question or concern on the financial statements and the auditor's reports, this is your chance. You can lift your hand, either physical or virtual. Any questions on the financial statements presented and the auditor's report? I will ask once again. Oh, I can see there are virtual hands. You can unmute Lydia Kinyua. Lydia, you can ask your question. You have been unmuted. Secretariat, can... yes, Lydia. Okay. Kindly unmute Caroline. Okay, I'm informed that you can actually unmute yourself. Caroline. Okay. Susan Kamau. Kindly unmute yourself. You can type the challenge you're having, if any, at the chat section. Felix Ndeke. You can unmute yourself. Felix Ndeke.
support the report as is.
Thank you, Felix, for supporting the report. Lilian Nyangasi.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lilian Nyangasi. I'm sorry, I had a question on the previous agenda which was concluded. So for this particular one, I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lilian. Susan Kamau, are you able to unmute yourself? Aya. Patroba Omwenga.
Good afternoon, members. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Proceed.
Yes, we can. Mine is just a clarification. Mulindi has just said that they have a partnership with KIPI. I'm the legal officer at KIPI, and there's no partnership we have with the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch. And if there's any partnership, it was Gloria who came and paid not Gloria, it was Josephine who came and paid a courtesy call. There's no partnership. So when you say there's a partnership, that puts me at a position of liability as the legal officer. Thank you.
Okay. Actually, it's been noted that there's no partnership. What we had was a stakeholder engagement. Sorry? Victor says he can clarify as well.
Yeah, so Patroba, thank you for your question. I was just summarizing what is on page 64. 2.1. If you read that paragraph, it says we've also been having regular engagements with KRA and KIPI and Kokobo for the Tax Liaison Committee and ICT Liaison Committee, respectively. So I did not mention that we have any partnership. So the idea is that we've had engagements with these organizations. Thank you.
I hope that has been adequately addressed. I do not see any new hands. Are those physically present? Any questions, concern, comments, compliments? Okay, we'll proceed to the next section. Oh yeah, so we are going to put up a poll for adoption of the poll. There's another hand. Angela Mandu. I'm about to betray where I come from. Angela, proceed. Angela, you can unmute yourself.
Jonathan Patumo, kindly unmute yourself.
Okay. Jonathan, we can note you have unmuted, but you're not talking. Kindly proceed. Okay. We can now put up the poll for adoption of these reports. Secretariat, kindly. Kindly participate in the poll.
So I'll call names. You'll be required to please come with a pen, or I can use ribbons. You will sign. Sorry about that. Clearly, I'm stepping into someone's shoes. So at this juncture, allow me to invite the outgoing council. We're going to be handing the certificates. We have our own one, Justice Munyithia, who will be handing the certificates to the outgoing council. Karibu sana. Justice, my apologies, Justice. But he accepts. Justice.
To the outgoing chair of Nairobi branch and council members, to the incoming chair and your team, and to the members of Nairobi branch. Good afternoon. First, it gives me pleasure to play this role as I see one generation transition to the other. I was looking at the admissions and I saw that our outgoing chairperson was admitted way back in 2016. It's a time when I had retired from the Law Society politics. And the chair emeritus, Ellen Namisi, whom we have worked together at Trial Advocacy Program to run programs for the Nairobi branch, has also been very supportive. So I come in two capacities. One, to appreciate those of us who have passed through our hands, like Gloria Kimani, to be what they are today, back at the Kenya School of Law. And secondly, to know that when Nairobi branch was formed, I was the chair then at the LSK SACCO. We had an MOU, and we have continued to support the branch. Therefore, we hope that after the new council is inaugurated, they'll get the opportunity to come, and we have a sitting to look into that MOU again and see which areas we continue partnering together. I want to assure you that your funds are well. You are the highest stakeholders in the SACCO, and we hope that you will continue supporting us and investing in the SACCO and making it your choice. Thank you very much. I think now we can start.
Thank you so much. So Gloria Kimani. Ribin Ondwari. Victor Mulindi. Josephine Oyombe. We have one for Justice Helen Namisi right here. So we can have Elizabeth pick it for her. Then we have Stephen Wanjiru. Ruben, you can maybe pick for Stephen Wanjiru. Damari Etemesi, we can have Josephine pick for Damari Etemesi. Then I think I'll pick for Teresia Wavinya. Wavinya, she's not here. Last but not least, I don't know if this was intentional, but we have Elizabeth having two. I don't know what sort of favoritism that is. We'll have our chairperson, acting chairperson, Elizabeth Wanjiru, come receive her certificate. Oh, vice chair and okay. Yeah. A second one. For being the chair. Thank you so much. So thank you so much to the outgoing council. As we prepare to exit the stage and have a new team join the stage, I will be calling out the names of the new council members to come and take their oath. Wendy, please pass me the Bible. So we have Effie Sheila Aching. So lift this and
I, Effie Sheila Achieng, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular, to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
so Effie will be receiving her certificate, and um, congratulations, Effie. Next, we have Cynthia Mudoni Gashara. Cynthia Mudoni Gashara. So, Cynthia, can you lift the Bible?
I, Cynthia Mudoni Gashara, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, the Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Next, we have Stephen Mundia Mwangi. Stephen Mundia Mwangi.
I, Stephen Mundia Mwangi, affirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Thank you so much, Stephen, and congratulations. We have Barbara Mora. Barbara Mora.
I, Barbara Maura, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, the Law Society Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Congratulations, Barbara. So here we have Wycliffe Oyo. Wycliffe Oyo.
I, Wycliffe Oyo, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, the Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Next in line we have Irene Kiwol. Irene.
I, Irene Kual, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of council member in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular, to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Congratulations, Irene. Then next we have Jane Wanjiku Ngoshi. Jane Wanjiku Ngoshi coming in as the position for Kiambu County Representative. I'll help you with your rights. Don't stress.
I, Jane Wanjiku Ngoshi, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, having been validly elected to the position of Kiambu County Representative in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of the law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Congratulations, Jane. Then for in-house council representative position, we have Shadrach Omondi. Shadrach Omondi.
I, Shadrach Omondi, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of in-house council representative in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all provisions of the law, and in particular to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch in fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Congratulations, Shadrach. Next, we have a senior lawyer of over 20 years, Caroline Kasoa Wanyonye.
I, Caroline Hasoa Wanyonyi, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, been validly elected to the position of senior lawyer of over 20 years in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe, observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular, to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations, Caroline. Congratulations. For the position of vice chair, we have Ribin Ondwari coming on stage to take his oath.
I, Ribin Nyarangi Ndwari, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya, and having been validly elected to the position of Vice Chair in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, the Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular, to safeguard the rule of law and promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya Nairobi branch in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Ribin, as you hang your boots as treasurer and take on the new role of VC, come get your certificate. And now, the most awaited moment. The most awaited moment. Join me to welcome the newest chair on the block, Mr. Eric Kakemu Kivuva. Eric Kakemu Kivuva, Chair, Nairobi branch.
I, Eric Kakemu Kivuva, reaffirm my position as an advocate of the High Court of Kenya and having been validly elected to the position of chair in conformity with the Constitution of Kenya, Law Society of Kenya Act, and the Advocates Act, do solemnly swear, affirm, and declare that I will subscribe and observe all the provisions of the law, and in particular, to safeguard the rule of law and to promote the ideals of the Law Society of Kenya, Nairobi branch, in a fair, truthful, free, and transparent manner. So help me God.
Okay, let's give them a good clap. A more deserving clap. It's no mean feat. Having been through that journey, I can tell you it's nothing easy. So congratulations, team. Kazi imeanza. So I stand here as Joy, but I do not stand here alone. I am backed up by a good team. The Independent Elections Committee that was made up of our chair, Mr. Ngaruya Waithaka, Elizabeth Wanjiru, the outgoing chair, William Okech. If you're here, can you be upstanding so that we can see who you are? Elizabeth, William, Ngaruya. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So at this juncture, I will again welcome Justice to come and give the certificates to the committee.
Thank you very much for the privilege and the honor to award these certificates to the IEC, and congratulations for the good job. I'm told there was no election petition, and the elections were fair, free, and transparent. The first recipient is Joy Madeka. The second recipient is our chair, Elizabeth Wanjiru.
The third recipient is William Okech. The fourth one is Senior Counsel Rauta Athiambo. Somebody to pick on his behalf. And the last one on the list is Waithaka Ngaruya. Somebody else to pick for him, please. Thank you. And lastly, my name is Irene Otto, and I represent you as the national office as a council member. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for being patient. And to the much awaited moment, we'll invite the chair to give his opening remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Members in the room, you may be seated. This is indeed a joyous and very serious occasion to the great members of LSK Nairobi branch. We are taking our roles very seriously. I'm sure you've seen that your elected council is in full suits on a whole Friday afternoon. And so we are taking you electing us very seriously. To my speech. Good afternoon, learned colleagues, members of the LSK Nairobi branch. members of the National Council present, members of the outgoing council, I would want to thank each and every person who voted for this council and entrusted us with this very huge responsibility of steering the LSK Nairobi branch in the right direction for the next 2 years. We do not take your confidence in us for granted, and we commit to work for all members and for the greater good of our great society. My fellow elected leaders in council, I congratulate you on your election. I am indeed delighted to be working with a team so driven to see to it that the LSK Nairobi branch regains its vibrancy and goodwill among members by ensuring that we improve on the practice environment and the welfare of members. As I have stated before, the success of the branch will only be possible if we forge ahead as a unit. This far, I am convinced that we have a council that is cohesive and progressive. I commit to foster more cohesion and collaboration within council. To the great people of the LSK Nairobi branch, members, I campaigned on a reset and calibrate agenda, and I invite all of us to become part of this agenda. The reset and calibrate agenda is about unity of the bar. It is about better practice environment, a more responsive welfare program. In short, we will not leave anyone behind as we forge ahead towards exploring the emerging areas of practice and creating new frontiers for our growing numbers and working to ensure that the bar is united. Members, I am convinced that we are better off as a united bar so that there should never be a time when there is segregation, so that we have young bar, mid bar, and the senior bar, in-house council, private practice, and so on and so forth. I am truly convinced that we are stronger and better as a united bar. At this juncture, allow me to thank our teams of campaigners that worked tirelessly to ensure our election. I want to recognize that your effort got us here, and I want to thank you. If you allow, I'll just mention a few. There is a Mr. George who would rather keep in the shadows, but I really want to thank you for the great job. Ms. Linda Nzioka, Crispin Bosire, Brian Onderi, Kevin Walumbe, Steve Musili, Wendy Litunya, just to mention but a few. I must say that you kept me going on days when I thought I did not have it in me. I would also like to thank the team at McKay Advocates, led by our managing partner, Mr. Paul Momani. You stood in the gap when I was away on the campaign trail, and nothing would have been possible without your support. So, asanteni sana. I would like to thank my many friends who spared their resources and time to ensure that I kept going, even on the most difficult of times. The 10th Intech family, the class of 2009 Parklands campus, the KSL class of 2010, Team Prospera, asanteni sana, and God bless you for your great efforts. My wife, Emily, your encouragement throughout the campaign period carried me through the darkest of days, and especially when there was so much uncertainty. I thank you. God bless you. The greater Kivuva and Karboro families, I cannot forget just how much invested you were in these campaigns, and even how you reached out to all your lawyer friends to ensure that each of them cast their votes in favor of the reset and calibrate agenda. Finally, members of the LSK Nairobi branch, we live in times of great uncertainty in the legal profession, especially because as the numbers grow, so are the threats to our livelihood and well-being. I invite all of us to support the branch and its program by not only complaining about that which is undone, but also getting involved in being part of the solution. My council and I are pushing for what we call all hands on deck. And so, members, I invite all of us to support the branch by just giving solutions. Whenever you feel that there is something that the council may have missed, we are open to constructive criticism and to share in your wisdom. Please come out whenever we reach out to you to support the branch. And I will start by urging all of us to become subscribed members. 1,500 shillings will go a long way in ensuring that the branch and its programs succeeds. And the success of the branch is the success of all lawyers in Nairobi. Finally, and this is now the very final, allow me to quote the psalmist in the book of Psalms 115, chapter 1, and it reads, "Not to us, Lord, not to us, but to your name be the glory because of your love and faithfulness." God bless you all. God bless the Law Society of Kenya. Thank you very much.
So if there's any other business, I would kindly request that you raise it now before we officially close the meeting. And for those who are in a rush, please note we have lunch. Please don't leave so that we can share a meal together. Any other business? Online? In person? Any other business? Online? In person? Okay, seems like there's none. That brings us to the close of this meeting. I will kindly request Victor Mulindi, if you're around, to give a vote of thanks. Okay, I see you. Then we can have a photo session and go for lunch. Enjoy, will pray for us.
All right, thank you so much. My task is very simple now that I'm retired from active politics. Mine is to give a vote of thanks to everyone who has come here today, to all the members who have joined in online. Thank you so much for showing your participation, for showing up and attending this meeting. And I know it's not just for the CPT points, because you really care about the branch. Yeah? Thank you so much for joining in. And of course, we could see your comments there in the chat room. Thank you so much. Of course, to the secretariat, these guys are the ones who hold the branch. They do such a good job. I just like us to appreciate them. Wendy and Tim, please stand up. Members of the secretariat, so we can see you. We have Wendy here, who is the CEO. We have Leonora. We have Carol there. We have Simon. We have at the back there, my eyes are not so good, Grace, Lulu, and Valentine. Yes. Yes, thank you. And Charles, of course. Yes. My eyes, I cannot see well. Yes. All right. Let's celebrate them. These guys have done a very good job. A very good job. To the outgoing council, of course, we've had a very awesome time the last 2 years. Really good time serving members. It's quite an interesting task. You realize that members vote for you and then they expect you to perform. Mnasemanga sa campaign, mkipewa mtafanya nini? Yes, so you have to really perform and really just show members value for your time and for their money and for their efforts. So thank you so much, council members, for your wonderful progress that you've put into the bar, into the branch. So let's celebrate this outgoing council member. Please stand up, we celebrate you, including ribbon. Stand, just stand for a minute. Yes, yes. Outgoing council, please. Yes, so we have Josephine, Gloria, Joy, Liz, and of course we had Ribin also. Thank you so much. We celebrate you. And there are others who are not here with us today. And of course, Justice Helen Namisi, who was our chair for almost the last 2 years. Thank you so much for that. And of course, to the technical team that was here today, please, thank you so much for making us look good. I saw a message being sent to Josephine. Ati, what kind of lipstick is that? I want that lipstick. Yes, it means they're doing a good job. Thank you so much, technical team. Good job. Of course, to Golden Tulip for hosting us here today. Thank you so much for that. And of course, to the incoming council. Guys, tumefikisha gari hapa. Fare yetu imeisha. Sasa ni kazi yenyu kuendesha hii. Tuite mbasa ama tuite nini? Hii gari yetu ya branch. Please, we are now passengers. Take us to the next level. And I'm sure you guys will do a good job. You're such a wonderful team with a bright future ahead of you. Eric was my classmate. I know he's a good man. He will take you to the next level. So let's celebrate them. Yes. Who else have I left out? And of course, last but not least, God Almighty. Without him, nothing is impossible. Nothing is possible. I heard another quote the other day that he does the impossible and he also does the possible. You know, we only sometimes go to God with Shindikana. We need to trust him for all things, whether it is difficult, whether it is easy. And I want to just say that one of my favorite verses in this season is Psalm 34 verse 1. It says, I will extol the Lord at all times. His praises will continually be on my lips. So that is something that is one of the verses that I sort of like meditate on a lot this season. So thank you so much for your time and God bless you. I do not like to be the guy who stands between you and your lunch. Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you. So let's welcome Joy to pray for us for the first time ever in this council. Okay. Thank you. Karibu Joy.
Okay, thank you so much. That was a quick swap today. I've had so many swaps, but I thank God for all those here. Let's stand up, believe, and pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you with our hearts full of gratitude as we conclude this AGM. We thank you for the guidance, wisdom, and presence throughout our deliberations today. Lord, we are grateful for the opportunity to gather together, to share ideas, and to make decisions that will shape the future of our branch. We thank you for each member who has contributed their time, their energy, and expertise. We ask you that you bless them and their families. We thank you for the outgoing council members, for their dedication, service, and leadership. May you continue to guide them in their future endeavors and bless them abundantly for their contributions. We also lift up the incoming council members. Lord, grant them wisdom, strength, and unity as they take up their new responsibilities. May they lead with integrity, vision, and a spirit of collaboration, always seeking the best for our branch and the community we serve. We are grateful for the efforts of the LSK Nairobi Secretariat and all the service providers. As we depart from this place, we ask you that you may protect us, may you guide us, may your presence be with us in our daily lives, and may we continue to work together in harmony and mutual respect, striving for excellence in all we do. We ask all this in your mighty name. Amen.
Thank you, Joy and Victor. So for the photo session, incoming council, you can have a seat. Kevin, you'll guide us. We'll start with the outgoing. I don't know what's your preference in terms of like your background. Yes, so we'll have outgoing council having their photo session first, then incoming, then both. And incoming council, as I mentioned, it was nice. Individual portraits, then we can go for lunch. Thanks. So for those who want to leave a bit early or in a rush, pick your lunch voucher at the registration desk. The lady in the black and gray dress is giving out vouchers. The lunch is being served at Temptation Restaurant, same floor. Same floor.
served on 10th floor. We are on 10th floor, the Imitation Restaurant.